Our text is John 10, 28 to 30. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. In John 10, Jesus contrasts himself sharply with the scribes and Pharisees, the unfaithful shepherds and hirelings of Israel. Jesus is the good shepherd. He loves his sheep. He cares for his sheep. He even lays down his life for his sheep. And who are these sheep in John 10? His sheep are the ones who hear his voice, especially as they hear that today in the preaching of the gospel. They are the ones who follow him and who, in a word, believe. And they believe because Christ knows them. He knows them with an intimate, affectionate regard of love and deep interest in their welfare. But concerning the unbelieving Jews, verse 26 tells us, especially the scribes and Pharisees, they are neither beloved sheep nor faithful shepherds. Verse 26, ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. But why do the sheep of Jesus Christ continue to believe on him, continue to hear his voice, and continue to follow him? That's the force of the original Greek here. My sheep hear my voice. That is to say, my sheep keep on hearing my voice. And they follow me. They keep on following me. Is it something in the sheep themselves that they keep on following Jesus Christ and are not torn to pieces by the ravening wolves out to get him? Is it because of their own faithfulness? Is that the condition which Christ gives here? Is their being sheep and remaining sheep conditional on their continued hearing and following? Not at all. It cannot be so. Every sheep knows his or her weakness. Every sheep understands that he is surrounded by enemies, and he has his own wicked flesh within to cause him to wander away from the good shepherd. So, by himself, he could not even stand for a moment. Rather, our perseverance in believing, in hearing, and in following Jesus Christ depends on his preservation of us. And in our text, Jesus Christ asserts this preservation in the strongest possible language, so that his sheep who were alive then and heard him speak would be comforted, and so that we, his sheep today, are also comforted by this word from our good shepherd. Consider the absolute security of Christ's sheep. The absolute security of Christ's sheep. First of all, look at the meaning, then at the necessity, and finally at the reason. Christ affirms the absolute security of his sheep, both positively and negatively in the text. Positively, he gives to them eternal life. Negatively, they shall never perish. That's his assertion here. I give unto them eternal life. And that phrase, eternal life, sums up all of the blessings of salvation. Verse 10 tells us, He came that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. What is eternal life? This eternal life which the Good Shepherd gives to his sheep. Eternal life is more than simply eternal, endless existence. The damned in hell have endless existence. They will never be annihilated. They will always exist under the wrath of God. But the damned in hell do not have eternal life. In fact, they have no life of any kind. They are suffering the second death. Nor is eternal life simply a continuation of this earthly existence. No, eternal life is defined for us in John 17, verse 3. It's a heavenly, higher, spiritual life, the knowledge of God. And this is life eternal, says Jesus, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. This eternal life, then, which the Good Shepherd gives to his sheep, is a higher and more blessed and richer life than this earthly life. The one who has eternal life never really dies. He may have to go through physical death, but he never really dies. His communion with God is never broken, even at the point of death. Even throughout the endless ages of eternity, he continues to know God in fellowship and in love. And in heaven, he grows in that knowledge of God and is increasingly blessed throughout the endless ages of eternity. And the result of this eternal life is unspeakable bliss, the knowledge of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Unspeakable bliss. And notice, he calls this eternal life. And because it's eternal life, it is not a mere temporal possession. If Christ gives a man eternal life, and then after 10 or 20 or 30 years, that man apostatizes and finally perishes, that is not eternal life. That would be a losable, temporary life. This eternal life lasts forever and is therefore unlosable. A life you forfeit after 40, 50, 60 years is not eternal life. It's temporary, and not the life which Jesus gives. That Jesus gives this eternal life to his sheep presupposes that they do not have this life of themselves, because by nature his sheep are dead.